Hey guys, today I want to talk to you really quickly about Windows Movie Maker. This is a free program loaded on most Windows machines, but if you don't have it on your machine, you can always do a basic web search and find it fairly easily. So when you open up Windows Movie Maker, this is your view. On the left is your preview screen. So this is where you'll be able to see what the movie looks like in progress. And on the right here is your timeline. You'll see that more active in just a few minutes. The biggest rule when it comes to Windows Movie Maker is save and save often. So when you're saving your movie in progress, you want to go to Save Project. You never want to save it as a movie until you're totally done and you don't want to make any more changes. So Save Project, and I would save about every 5 minutes or so. Let's talk about some of the features of the various toolbars. Obviously, add photos and videos. That's what we'll use in just a few minutes to pull in some videos to start making our movie. Adding music is a great option after you're done recording your narration. Again, recording narrations right here, and it's fairly simple. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Snapshot is if you want to use active video, but you want to pause it and actually take a Polaroid or a picture of your video to use later on. These are the functions where you can put text on the screen. You can do a title slide, which we'll do in just a few minutes, put caption, put actual text on a picture, and then credits at the end. These you'll notice are kind of grayed out right now because I don't have any pictures to pull in to use right now, but you'll see them become active as we add photos to our film in just a few minutes. Again, these are basic cropping tools. I can rotate and edit my photos if I need to. Again, this one over here, Save Movie, I never want to click that until I'm totally done and don't want to make any more changes. Really, the best way to find your way around Windows Movie Maker is to actually make a practice movie. So let's pull in some photos and get started. So I'm going to go to my picture library. I think I do some pictures here to pull in. Just a few. And you can pull in multiple pictures at a time. So you can see now that I have some photos in my timeline. I can move them around and switch places if I want one to be before the other. I can preview the movie over here. And this bar right here is kind of my toggle bar, and it shows me what the transitions are going to look like, and this will play more so into the role when we start recording our narrations as well. Now you'll notice up here, these that were once grayed out are now active. So these are preloaded transitions if you're interested in that. Again, if I click on one and then if I drag my menu bar back to the beginning of my movie and hit play, it's going to kind of add, there we go. It's going to kind of add some fun elements to the film. You're going to notice a transition here. This gray triangle shows a transition between the two. And this little box is up in the corner means I have preloaded transitions. You'll see how the slide transitions. Sometimes the auto movie themes also have music with them. That's why it prompted me to add music to it. I think sometimes these make the files a little heavy, so this is probably more of an advanced skill if you want to add an auto movie theme later on. Just be careful of doing this before you do your narration because it makes the files a predetermined amount of length. So if you change your mind, you can always just go back to this box and you'll notice it'll take all of the elements of the auto movie off. So what I want to go ahead and do is I want to start from the beginning here. I'm going to take away everything I've added and I want to start over, and I just want to add a title screen. This would be something you want to do, and you can do it at any point in your movie. You can use them in the middle, at the end, but obviously your movie wants to have a title screen first. So when you click on title, it's going to take you to the text tools menu bar, and you have some options here. So let's go ahead and just call it My Movie. You can edit your font. You've got lots of choices to choose from. You can edit how large it is. You can edit the color of your text. And then you can also edit the background. So say you want a nice pretty blue. You can also edit where you want your font or your text to appear, if you want it to be justified to left or right or center. And you can also add some really cool effects to your title screen. If you want to look very theatrical, you can. You can kind of make the text float. Again, you're going to preview it here. This is a really important thing to note. It shows you that the text is going to stay on the screen for a total of 7 seconds. So if you want this to be longer or shorter, it does give you the option, just so you know, in case your font, you need it to last a little bit longer or even a little bit shorter. So let's go back home and let's add a picture. So now we've got a movie with a title and a picture. So let's talk about some of the options with photos, how you can change them around and add animations and add effects to them. So if we select the visual effects toolbar, it gives us some options to kind of edit the photo itself. So we can make it kind of grainy or black and white. We can make it kind of saturated with color here. We'll choose that one. You can apply that to all your slides or all your pictures if you'd like to. And then again, if I want to add any type of animation, I'm going to go to the animation toolbar. And this is really important to note. I want to make sure I make all the changes as far as animation and visual effects before I ever start recording any narration, because the visual effects actually make the slide last a little bit longer. And while you can edit how long the slide lasts, I've found in my experience it's easier to do this first and then record your narration. So as far as animations, you've got a couple basic ones. Again, it just shows you how it transitions between the slides. Lots of diamond ones. I mean, you've got a lot to choose from. It's got an expandable toolbar. They can shatter like glass. And again, the whole time it's gonna preview this in my preview screen here. And again, just like before, you can apply to all. You can also have the option to make things pan and zoom. So if I click this, it's going to actually pan in and zoom in and move, even though it's not a video, it's just a photo. It's going to kind of make it look very video-esque. So again, you just like before, you have the option to apply to all if that's something you're interested in your movie. Okay, now that I'm ready, I'm happy with my video transitions and my effects, I'm going to think about narration. So again, to record narration, I'm just going to drag my toolbar to wherever I want my narration to start. Then I'm going to click on record narration, and it's very simple. It's just record, stop, and cancel. And again, if you're making a longer film, I would suggest recording in smaller snippets instead of trying to record the entire thing as one, because you never know if you get to the end and then you make a mistake and then you have to delete it. You can trim the narration, which is nice if for some reason you cough or there's a background noise, you can trim that element out later on. So let's go ahead and practice recording a narration and seeing how it works. These are some of the Valentines my students made for the children at Corsair Children's Hospital. It's going to ask me to save my narration. And it's important to note that wherever you save it, I'm going to save it on my desktop, you can't move it while the movie is still in progress, because it's always going to be searching for that narration in that spot. So make sure to leave them and not move them into some sort of folder after you're done recording. Okay, so we've recorded our narration. So now you always want to preview it to make sure that it got everything you wanted to say. And this is a great example. I'm going to show you how mine cut off a little bit and how we can remedy that problem. So let's preview it. So you'll notice that it cut me off right before I finished saying the word hospital. So I want to go up to video tools first. Right now that slide is about 7 seconds and my audio seems to be a hair longer than that. So I'm going to change this to maybe 8 or 9 seconds, and you'll notice that all of a sudden my audio appears. Now if I didn't have that option, if it didn't seem to appear, I can always go up to narration tools toolbar, and where it says end point, if I just click the up button, and I keep clicking that until it stops, it'll go all the way to the end of the actual narration. So now if we preview it, it allows me to finish my thought. So again, anytime you're working with narration, you're going to want to look at the narration toolbar. Not a ton of options that we need to go over here besides endpoint, which I showed you. Fade in and fade out isn't really important because that would be more something you would work with music. If for some reason your recording is fairly quiet, if your microphone isn't higher level, you can always play with the volume of your narration here, and that's important to note. And same thing with the video tools toolbar. If for some reason you pull in video, not a photo, but video that has volume, you can adjust that the volume of the video is lower than the volume of your narration. So let's try one other thing. So now I've got a slide with a picture. I go to the end. I want to add a caption onto this picture. So if I click caption, it's going to enter a text box, and I can move my text box wherever I want. And I'm going to write Valentine's for the kids. And again, just like before, I can change the font if I want. I can make it bigger. And I can also, again, right now it's got this set to show up for 0.01 seconds. I want that a little bit longer to be on the screen, so I'm going to set it at 4 seconds. So let's preview it. Now it put that over here. I want to drag it all the way over here at the start of the slide. So let's preview it. And again, the timeline is such a beneficial tool because I can see exactly where that's going to stop. If I want that to extend longer, I'm going to click on it, going to go to the text tools toolbar, and I'm going to say, you know what, I want it to be 6 seconds. And just like with the video animations, we also have the option with the text for different ways for it to kind of fly in and appear. It can slant a little bit. Again, if I hover over these options, it'll show them to me. So let's just fast forward and pretend that I'm done with my movie and I want to add credits at the end. So I'm going to drag my timeline bar over here. I'm going to click credits. And the credits screen is a little bit different than any other screen because it's going to kind of flash your credits up as it would in a movie. So in my credit box, I'm just going to highlight the selected text here. And I'm going to paste in some of my text from a project I just finished working on. And again, just like before, I can adjust the size of my text, maybe a little too small. I can adjust the actual font. I can decide how long I want my text to stay on the screen. So if I want them to flash by really fast or I want them to take their time to make sure that they can see it. And again, if I preview it, you'll see the credits going on up. Okay, one of the last things I want to show you before we save our finished film is how to add music. So you click on Add Music, and it's going to take you to whatever library. You'll notice if I don't click on that, if I click on this bottom bar, it gives me some options. Find music online, or you can add music from your computer. So I'm going to click on this one, and you'll notice it just pulls in and adds a second audio bar. And you can see how loud the music is. Let me show you what it sounds like so far. So I can already tell without even listening that these two are going to compete once they're kind of going at the same time. So again, if I go to Music Tools, this is a new toolbar we haven't seen, and I go to Music Volume, I'm going to want to turn the music volume just a little bit down so it doesn't overshadow my narration. I can also make it fade in, fade out towards the end, because right now it's just going to stop. So if I want to drag my toolbar over here, I can click Fade Out, Medium, and it'll kind of fade out towards. So let's see what the volume sounds like with my speaking and the music at the same time. Seems to be a perfect mix, but again, if it wasn't, I could go play with the music volume over here. Okay, so I'm happy with my movie. I think it's done. I'm going to go ahead and save it as a project just one more time to make sure, in case I come back and I realize I've made a mistake and I want to adjust something, I want to make sure I save it one last time as a project. Once I'm done, I can go over here to Save Movie. I'm going to go ahead and save it from my computer, and I'm going to call it My Movie Finished. And I'm going to save it on my desktop. And it's going to take a minute or two as it kind of exports the movie into an MP4 file. And then it allows me to play it if I want to. And then again, now that this is saved on my desktop, I can upload this to YouTube or turn it in on a Dropbox somewhere now that it's an MP4 file. I hope this helps.